Second round, the U.S. against Brazil. Houston, Garnett, Duncan, Kidd, and Payton. That group has been absolutely terrific. Josuel, Clafferty, Barahio, Massaccini, along with Conrado, will be the 5 for Brazil. And let's send it over to Craig Sager.
In the final practice before the tournament, Tom Gugliotta broke his nose after plastic surgery, nerve injections. You're averaging just 3 points in 11 minutes. How frustrating has this tournament been for you?
It's been very frustrating, to be in Orlando for the week and a half we were there practicing and playing well and thinking having an opportunity to play here at 100%, and having that last practice and with 15 minutes to go get a broken nose and see limited action has been quite frustrating, but it's still fun to be a part of, and we're winning, so that helps.
Yeah, he doesn't like to wear the mask, but once again, doctor's orders, he must wear it tonight. Kevin?
That's right. He went under the knife, and he had anesthesia, and he had to wear the mask.
Well, he cannot see to the right or to the left, and it's definitely hurt his ball handling ability, which he is an outstanding performer. And then the swelling in the eyes has gone down, and the swelling and the split over the nose. So he feels the best that he has since the injury physically. Now let's hope that he can master the mask.
Yeah, right. And that is a tough thing to do, as you talk about. The perception is very muted. Tom's wife, Nikki, and their little daughter, Cameron, did not make this trip. She is back in a competition as a triathlete in Arizona. So she is not here, but he wanted to send his best to her, and he will probably see more time as the tournament goes on, as Brazil, that won this year's South American Senior Men's Basketball Tournament, and a respected tradition with this team, this national ball club, takes on the U.S.
This is a very young team. They've decided to retire the older fellas. They still play in their Division I league, but the older guys are off the national team. They're in here with a very young ball club, and they like their future. The coach was just over talking to me beforehand. Very nice fella, and he has been one of the most successful coaches in the history of the country.
So Brazil begins at first with Conrado inside to Barahio, and a rebound by Tim Duncan. It's Payton to Houston of the New York Knicks. Inside into 2, kicking it to Garnett, flipping it to Kidd, and Duncan is wide open.
But the athleticism has always been the difference in the first 5 games here. Now you'll see this is Brazil at their best. Anytime that you score against Brazil, you must be prepared to get back quickly, because they will inbound the ball either up the right or the left side. Now most teams are caught anytime that you take it up the left side, because most ball clubs are right-handed, and when they do go back defensively, they're trying to cover that area of the floor.
You just saw U.S. coach Larry Brown. A lot of FIBA teams, international teams, use that early quick release.
Yeah, well, we just saw it in the game beforehand, and Argentina did a masterful job upsetting upsetting the host team, Puerto Rico. And they have a very young team. Argentina played at the top of their game, made their threes, but they are a quick ball club. And it'll be interesting to see if they can reach the semifinals.
Tim Duncan was followed by Josuel, and Josuel picks up his first, a guy who has a litany of success with every national team since 1990. As you take a look at Tim Duncan, and the FIBA rules, coach, are different than the NBA and NCAA rules.
Well, the first thing you remember, the game is 8 minutes shorter. It's only 40 minutes. Then we know that the timeouts, you get 2 in the first half, 3 in the second, no 20 seconds. The width of the lane widens out 3 feet, basically at the base. Now the 3-point distance is the key. Now we're talking 3 feet 3 inches. That is the major difference in a 3-foot shot. So you say to yourself, well, what is it? Well, it's really like you've taken a step, and that's what makes the NBA rule so tough to hit, the distance.
So it's almost like a college 3.
It's a little bit longer,
yes.
Okay? And we're basically dealing with about a foot and change.
Marchadio. And out of bounds it goes. There is a 30-second shot clock. This one was kicked. It's 13 seconds to shoot here.
Now Brazil will try to milk the clock, run very disciplined offensive patterns. Up until now, the United States has been able to take all the teams out of their half-court sets because of their quickness.
Josuel hits the shot, and Brazil has a lead of a point. Something the U.S. has not seen that much of from the opposition, as Kidd, who's played great, gets it off to Duncan. Garnett up high and over Rahayo, and a rebound by Brazil. With the ball, Conrado, who played in the '96 Olympics.
Yeah, Conrado has been with them a long time, and he is a very, very good ball handler.
Joe Swell with another hook for Brazil.
Well, see, you have to pay attention to him. He's been on the national team for a long time. He does have the game with his back to the basket, and they will continue to go to him. Right now, Duncan and Garnett have got to get it going.
Houston for 2, and now it's the U.S. down by 1.
Now, this is the first time that we've seen the United States come down the floor. This is where they've been able to turn you over. 12 steals a game, 6 block shots, and then they get out in the open floor and do the damage.
Klafficki, who's battling a bad knee, to the hole for 2, another 3-point lead.
Well, he's one of the truly rising stars in Brazilian basketball. And I'm glad you brought it up, Kevin, that he does have a bad knee.
Kidd with the miss. Rebound is reeled in by Varahio. Joe Swell, he's had a couple nice hook shots inside. With a now Klafficki.
Klafficki's about 6'6", very, very quick in the open floor, and he is a prime-time scorer within their pro league at home.
Great feed. Klafficki caught it, put it in, and this is the biggest deficit the U.S. has had the entire tournament of 5. It's Kidd. Duncan gets it. Nice drive by Gary Payton of Seattle.
Well, in the early going, the USA definitely sleepwalking, and you can see it at the defensive end. They're very, very passive in this early going. This is the first real trap that we have seen.
Garnett just about got it. Another nice pass inside. Joe Swell hounded by
Give it up.
Duncan. It's Garnett to Payton.
Now, that's what this tournament has looked like. The majority of possessions. The USA in the open floor in transition.
And flexing their defense a bit, employing a full court as we see Klafficki getting it down to Varahio. He'll drive across the lane, rebounded by Garnett, outlet to Payton. Ahead to Duncan. Oh, what a play and a great pass by Payton.
Well, the big lesson that everyone is learning in this tournament is the quickness of Duncan and Garnett in changing ends. And big men in FIBA basketball are not accustomed to that type of quickness, changing from circle to circle.
What'd you say the other night? Big men in 6'3", with the 6'3" mentality.
Yeah, and that's good, because that's what Larry Brown feels about Garnett and Duncan.
Joe Swell hits another shot for Brazil. He's hit 3 in a row.
And he's taking Duncan to school here early. He said, hey, I know you're first-team All-NBA, but, you know, let's see what you got here.
Kidd with a nice pitch to Duncan. Into Joe Swell, the other end. It won't drop, and Joe Swell there at the rebound. Klafficki the other way for Brazil. Varahio working on Garnett. A little bit of size advantage with weight. Duncan with the double. Kidd breaks out. And here's Gary Payton working on Conrado. Duncan to Garnett. Rebounded inside by Varahio, and here comes Brazil again. Conrado, Klafficki, Joe Swell with Duncan right there. Stepped out of bounds on the drive along the baseline.
Brazil loves to play in the 90s, and we're talking a 40-minute game. So if we continue this tempo right now, they'll be very happy.
Watch Due South at 6 and ER at 7, weeknights on TNT.
Beer man, Coors Light.
Coming up.
Allow me to say a few words in this beer's memory. He was so young and so full of carbonation. Little bubbles. Everyone loved this frost-brewed Coors Light. So let us send him off in a way that is dignified, respectable, and 100% recyclable. Maybe I could console his family. Coors Light.
While we could give you a lot of reasons to buy performance friction carbon metallic disc brake pads from AutoZone, perhaps the most compelling is this. They simply stop shorter than any brand we've ever tested. Performance Friction Carbon Metallic. Ask for them at AutoZone.
To be the best takes strength, speed, endurance. Now the best way to cure athlete's foot has it all. New Lamisil AT. Strength. Full prescription strength to stop the itching and burning. Speed. These take 4 weeks of treatment to kill the fungus. Only Lamisil AT cures athlete's foot with just 1 week's use. Endurance. A study showed most users were still athlete's foot free 3 whole months later. Get it all in new Lamisil AT. The best way to cure athlete's foot.
Moments ago, the U.S. trailed by 5, which has been their largest deficit of all the 5 previous games. Now they're in game 6. We're in the second round. And Hubie, I think, more than any other player, Kevin Garnett has really put his signature on this team.
Not only that, the people in Puerto Rico love his enthusiasm. Now, he has been filling the lane. He's a highlight film on the lob pass dunk, but the shot blocking, the steals, the total game. 15 points in like 24 minutes, the 6 rebounds, and how about the 69% shooting percentage? But we all know that that's inflated because of the dunks and the fast break layups.
Duncan draws the double. First he has seen tonight Payton over Joe Swell. And that was tough because Joe Swell much taller than Gary.
Well, Gary Payton has just played great basketball.
On the other end, Joe Swell beat him down there.
What? I'm telling you, Duncan has got to wake up. This guy is embarrassing him in the early going right now. Now people say, oh, wait a second, you're getting hysterical. Okay, but right now Joe Swell is saying, you know what, I'm going for doubles here on Tim Duncan. That's going to happen by halftime.
And Kidd just threw it away. A rare turnover for Jason Kidd. Klafficke against Houston. Kidd breaks it up and gets it at the other end. And he'll weave through traffic. 3-on-3. Kidd to the trailing Kevin.
Oh, baby! Wow!
I'm shaking.
And I want to tell you something. That was a great catch and whirlwind dunk. But Jason has looked for Garnett on all the breaks as the trailer.
That shot will be sunk by Barahio. He is their leading shooter, best field goal percentage.
At the timeout, Larry Brown was on his guys in the huddle saying, listen, come on, we're playing off of these people. They're shooting. We're playing their style of play. We have to pick it up here with the intensity.
The New York Knicks, Allen Houston gets it. Early release at the other end. Put in with ease by Barahio.
So you can do that if you do not have pressure on the passer in the backcourt. Now, right now, the U.S. has got to change. The guards have got to say, as soon as we score or we shoot a miss, we've got to get to people because our big guys are getting beaten down the floor tonight.
Payton spoon feeds Duncan with a nice spin move inside on Barahio. Game has had 12 lead changes already.
Well, I know the fans are enjoying this. They love the racehorse. They love the tempo of the game.
Joe Swell and Duncan. Back to Joe Swell from Barahio.
Oh, pretty cut.
And a wonderful basket finish by Conrado.
Well, they caught Jason Kidd looking into the post. And as soon as Jason Kidd looked to see where the basketball was, a beautiful backdoor.
Garnett basically uncovered hits.
See, Brazil likes this. It's like playing tag. No one's going to get hurt. We're going to run up and down. No one's close to one. It's terrific. That's the way to play. It's like playing horse in your driveway.
Right, yeah.
Now keep an eye to the right of your screen. You're going to see Kidd go right down the middle, and the trailer has, ooh, baby, get out from underneath.
Look out. U.S. by 1. Joe Swell again, who has played well against Duncan tonight on both ends. Hardaway is in the game, the Miami Heat point guard. Timmy Hardaway. Shot clock at 3. Joe Swell drives. Rebounded by Garnett.
Nice block that time by Kevin coming across.
Hardaway, bad knees and all, takes it rumbling down the lane, and he was fouled on the play. Larry Brown just went on about this kid the other day, showing great pride, even though he's coming off knee surgery a couple weeks ago. Timeout.
Hey, beer mime. Coors Light. Are you scared? Nervous? Crowds make you nervous. Beer's cold. Because it's frost brewed. Okay, got it. You're climbing a ladder. No, you're climbing a mountain. Oh, yeah, because it's Born in the Rockies. Delivered by mimes. That's very funny. That's very funny. Just give me the beer. Check this out. Keep the change.
Just what the hell did you do to those sharks?
We used gene therapies to increase their brain mass. As a side effect, the sharks got smarter.
She screwed with the sharks, and now the sharks, they're screwing with us.
What happens if she escapes?
The oceans would be theirs.
Feeding time.
Deep Blue Sea, rated R. Starts Friday, July 30th at a theater near you.
Here's one reason so many people come to Midas for brakes. Here's another. A lifetime guarantee on genuine Midas brakes at every Midas nationwide. Go safely. Go Midas.
Freedom. Control. Just you and your laptop. Log on to autobytel.com for dealer cost info, reviews, and a low, no-haggle price. Autobytel.com. The road to your next car.
The U.S. team on top of the Brazilian national team, 22-21. This is the Olympic qualifying tournament of the Americas. Here are the Coors Light team leaders for the U.S.
Well, Gary Payton is playing terrific basketball. Duncan naturally with the rebounding, and Kidd making things happen in the open floor. Gary Payton averaging 13 shots a game. Kevin Garnett 13. No one else averaging double figure in shot attempts. Timmy Hardaway leading the team in 5 3-point shots per game. He's 12 for 27 in the tournament.
5 3-point shots leading the team in that game.
Right. You can see that Timmy, you can see the bandage on that right knee. As soon as the NBA playoffs were over, he went and got the knee cleaned out in there. And he is laboring. This is not the Tim Hardaway that we're accustomed to seeing taking it off the dribble to the basket.
Souza in the game. Masato. Steve Smith in. Vin Baker is in for the U.S. Payton is in with Duncan. Hardaway. Conrado. Duncan is out. Mismatch here. Conrado tries to exploit it with a pass to Joe Swell. A second to shoot. Duncan puts onto it inside. The quick outlet caught by Payton. Baker at his side. Hardaway trails. Payton with a spinning move inside on Hasliato. And a foul call.
Gary Payton just playing excellent basketball. You see him, he's one of the masters that we have in the open floor with the spin move. He is shooting 78% in this tournament. Now, Vin Baker is shooting at 81%. I know Baker wishes that this would continue into the NBA season next year.
Baker inside. Foul is assessed. Baker will go to the line. Joe Swell was there battling with Baker.
Well, we all know that Vinny Baker had a very difficult season this year. And, you know, you kind of have a tendency to forget that he did play in 4 All-Star games. Then he was on the second-team All-NBA team in '97 and the third-team in '98, and just had a disastrous season this year with the ligaments in the thumb, and then also the fact that he's been overweight.
Conrado made the steal on Payton. It's off the U.S. U.S. out there with Hardaway, Baker, Duncan, Payton, and Steve Smith of the Atlanta Hawks.
Larry Brown continues to rotate the 9 NBA players. The NCAA players will not get in unless the game is a rout before the half or near the end of the ball game.
And a foul is assessed inside. U.S. picks it up. Hardaway was in there. Smith was grabbing. Foul called on Smith. Those are the 3 college players. Hamilton on the left. Brand in the middle, and Wally Serbiak on the right. But surprisingly, they've seen pretty good minutes.
Well, they're getting the minutes, but they're not getting the shot attempts because they are no longer the #1 option, Kevin, or the #2 option. They are the garbage, loose ball in your direction option. And that's very difficult when you think that last summer, Brand and Serbiak both averaged 17 points for the Goodwill team. And also that Hamilton is one of the greatest scorers in the history of basketball at UConn.
And a Final Four MVP
there
last year.
You go. That's right.
Here's Baker drawing some resistance.
But
Duncan
we are at a different level here.
This is a little different level. Duncan collides inside. Baker cleans it up well. This is the biggest lead for the U.S., 25-21. Actually, Baker, being overweight, coming off a dismal season, has played well in this tournament.
Well, Larry Brown is hoping that he gets his confidence back, and that was his goal from day one. In the first practice, he told him, he says, listen, let's try to get your game back where you're feeling good, lose some weight, get that thumb back going.
Souza marching inside, rejected by Duncan in a foul.
Yeah, Duncan thought that he had a clean block that time, but the ref is saying that, yeah, he blocked it with the one hand, but he had him with the other. Let's take a look at it right here. Right now, Brazil doing it nice. Now, you can see it right there. There's the block. Now, I don't see the left hand. I did not see the left hand on his body. From our angle, initially, it looked like Duncan got him with the left arm.
Souza at the line. He'll be one of two rookies on this Brazilian national team. He talked about how they're trying to turn things over a little bit and go young.
I've always liked their style of play. They've always been high octane. Get it in, get it up, take advantage of our athleticism, and they love it when the big guys shoot the threes and then take you off the dribble.
Offensive foul on Gary Payton down low on the block.
Well, that time, Cassiolito did an excellent job in beating Payton to the spot, and Gary could not shed him, so he hit him with a forearm.
New point guard in, Filio. His dad is the head coach. Joe Swell to Masato. And the shot is away, and a foul called as Filio took it. That will be on Brazil.
If the United States cannot turn you over, if the United States cannot block your shots, now you're in a half-court game. Well, you look at Brazil in the early going, their spacing has been beautiful. They have the U.S. spread out so far. The guys are quick coming off of the curl moves.
Payton inside, the feed to Smith. Hesitation inside, and the foul. And that hesitation, very seductive in the way it was pulled off by Steve Smith. Let him gamble, and the third foul called on the rookie, Souza.
The passing of the United States inside the painted area has been really beautiful to watch, and it has impressed the people down here in attendance. I think they were expecting guys to be selfish and not unselfish. And not only have they seen the guys make passes, they have seen them make sensational passes.
And Larry Brown is the architect of unselfish play.
Larry and his staff, Tubby Smith and Gene Cady, they've done a terrific job at this ball game.
Trapping in the backcourt. Here comes Filio, the coach's son, working on Timmy Hardaway of the Miami Heat. U.S. by 5. They've trailed by 5 earlier in this game. Joe Swell. Duncan is on him. Shot clock to 7. Joe Swell and Duncan. Another hook. And down it goes again.
I think this is a reincarnation of the game of George Mikan. I don't want to say Kareem, okay, but I want to say George Mikan with all the hooks.
Oh! Duncan running rough shot over Brazil. He's got 10.
Well, let's face it, this is the first game that he has looked to score, and I think that he's saying, I better start matching this guy.
U.S. by 5. This by Souza. Taken by Hardaway. Out of the blocks comes the U.S. Timmy Hardaway leading it. And bullets it into Baker for 2.
No one has been able to hand, not one team has been able to hand naturally the inside play of Baker, Garnett, and Duncan. They just overpower you once they get into the painted area.
So nimble for their size. They think small in terms of a small man's game, but they play so big. Outside. What did you say about the big men shooting outside like
they love it?
Joe Swell did right there.
From the time they come out of the crib, they're shooting the perimeter shot, okay?
Duncan trying the long-range three. Missing there, Joe Swell.
I mean, Joe Swell has Tim Duncan thinking offense for the first time in his life. Okay? That he and Duncan are definitely in a horse game right now.
And it's fun to watch. Filio to Souza. Across the lane into Baker and a foul.
When we talk about spacing, that was a perfect example. When their inside guys turn and face the basket, don't you notice there's no double team? The guys have too far of an area to cover. Excellent offensive strategy.
Back when time and space shook hands and parted ways, the DNA that is you and the purity and promise that is this frost-brewed Coors Light began a journey, each of you aimed by the hand of fate at a point in the future, bringing you closer to a destination known simply as Seat 9, Section B. This is your beer, and you are this beer's destiny. Maybe it didn't recognize you.
Nothing tops ice cream better than Hershey's chocolate syrup. So feel free to pour it on. But do watch out for those cherries.
Boy, you're sweating like crazy.
You got TV cameras all over you.
We asked the hottest pros under the sun to switch antiperspirant.
Invisible solid? What's that?
Degree Invisible Solid is body heat activated with a clear difference.
Right there. See, there's no white stuff.
Degree works hard but never shows.
You gotta be cool.
A new force to be reckoned with. Motor Trend. Reliability, it's guaranteed. Edmunds.com. God's own warranty plan. Confident, secure handling. The ride is also excellent. A solid piece of fresh and
the Hyundai Sonata. It seems wherever it goes. Praise from the automotive press is never far behind.
Driver, April 99.
The Sonata from Hyundai. Backed by America's best warranty.
The romantic harbor of Old San Juan on a Tuesday night. Welcome back to the Olympic qualifying tournament of the Americas. Second round play for the U.S. We've got a 5-point game, 31-26 with Hubie Brown, Kevin Harlan. Why a 5-point game?
Well, I think that the United States has not been able to turn this team over. And anytime you turn them over, then you need the shot blocking. We have not seen that so far. This is the least amount of intensity that we have seen. It's their 6th game in 6 nights, but we're seeing them on the downer. When will the trapping come and become effective? That's when we'll see them playing their game.
Sato feeds to Cardoso. Knocked away. Here comes Kidd. That was knocked away. Taken by Filio of Brazil. Hardaway's on him. Tom Gugliotta of the Phoenix Suns is in now with his teammate Jason Kidd at Phoenix. A 3 by Filio is down.
Oh, they're playing with such great confidence. They're shooting 57% from the floor right now. Everything is going their way, and they're saying, where is this dominant defense that we heard so much about?
Steve Smith for the triple, and down it goes. Foul called on Baker as Filio was taking it out. I really like Steve Smith's game. Does a lot of things for you, and Atlanta does obviously too.
Well, you know that the three-point game is always there, plus the fact he is an outstanding foul shooter, 84% for his career. Then, when he is on a roll, it can happen three-point, midpoint, it can happen in the post, and if you touch him, he's on the line, and it's like death because he's such a great foul shooter.
Hardaway, Gugliotta, the Timberwolves, Kevin Garnett back out there, the aforementioned Smith and Kidd, US 5. Cardoso to Machado, working on Smith, who knocked it away, plucking it out of bounds. Brazil has it with 11 to shoot on the clock.
Brazil's ball club, it's kind of nice because they've rotated already 10 guys. Everyone's getting a chance to play in this game.
And the rookie Souza jousting with Garnett, and a foul called on Kevin underneath.
If you look at their inside players, Kevin, Joe Swell and Souza, and you say, well, why are they getting the shots off? If you notice, they don't do anything quick. They just take their time. They're methodical in their moves, and and Garnett, Baker, and Duncan are anticipating the quick move, and it's not happening. And then all of a sudden, when the guy does make the move, they're either getting fouled or the shot is in the basket.
Duncan on the bench after starting. And Sousa with another try, picked up by Gugliotta.
Now, Brazil defeated Argentina for the South American Championships 73-67 in Argentina. So, you know, these guys, you know, they're on a little bit of a, yeah, we're young, but you know what? You're giving us confidence to play here right now.
As you take a look at Tom Gugliotta's mask to protect the broken nose, if you were his coach and this guy was using a mask for the first time, how would you tell him to cope with what is obviously a foreign thing now in his game?
Well, I mean, how would I do that unless I had to play with one myself?
Well, let's say you played with one yourself.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately for Gugliotta, his game is a rebounding type of a game. He always averages 9 rebounds a game in the NBA. He is a perimeter shooter, and I take you off the dribble guy. Well, right away, he's got the problem with the depth because of the mask, and then all of the dribbling, and that is out of question because the first night he had 5 turnovers, and he went right away from that. I'm not going to do anything that's not easy.
Back to one time he threw away the mask, and here he comes driving down the lane. He lost vision of the ball.
Well, you see, he couldn't find the ball.
Filio, great pass on the wing, missing the shot. Casilato, here comes Kidd, 3-on-2. Kidd to the right, Kidd down, count it. They'll go to the line.
Now that was a great professional player with a high IQ on the break. He just moved his body right into the defender. Watch how he moves his body into the defender, takes the hit, and then lays it up with the left hand. Now, all of that is great, but you have to be able to finish with that left hand.
And he can do that, and he runs the break so fast. One of the fastest I've seen running the break, in fact.
Well, he's been such an energizer bunny here, along with Gary Payton. Now, I know if this is your first look at the U.S. in the series, you're saying, well, Gary Payton, what's he done tonight? Gary Payton has been the heart and soul of this ball club, leading the team in scoring, playing outstanding defense, and between he and Jason Kidd, they're averaging 3 steals each per game.
And don't let Payton's regular season color how he's playing here, because it's been totally different. Of course, it's easier for everybody, but he did struggle in the regular year. Not the kind of Gary Payton numbers we've seen.
The shooting was off for the first time in his career. Not only the field goal shooting, but also the three-point shooting.
Nice defense by Gugliotta. Got away from Cardoso. U.S. has forced only 4 turnovers in 15.5 minutes as you take a look at Tom. Shot clock at 14 for Brazil. Kidd may have gotten a hand on it. And the outside shot, a 3 by Mossato, is down. He was the #2 scorer in his league this year.
And he has played well in this tournament.
Kidd, Duncan, very easily done.
See, all the teams have been able to cut off the dribble from the side down to the basket. But where the U.S. has hurt everyone is with the big man coming right down the middle of the lane.
New player in is Faraha. Outside to Conrado. Through the hands of Duncan. And Filio for 3. Duncan is there. Kidd will take it. Hardaway sets another 3, which he's leading the team in taking. Out of bounds, U.S.'s ball with a fresh shot clock. 3.5 to play in the U.S. in a tight one. Uncustomary for them in this tournament.
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you.
I think you're beautiful. Gee, thanks. I was talking to the beer.
You're probably wondering how I got this bod. 100 collect calls a day with 1-800-CALL-ATT. It's always the same low rate, so I can do it all day and all night. Ah! Ah! Come spot me! 1-800-CALL-ATT. I feel good.
For the same low rate every minute, everywhere, dial 1-800-CALL-ATT. Here's one reason so many people come to Midas for brakes. Here's another. A lifetime guarantee on genuine Midas brakes at every Midas nationwide. Go safely. Go Midas.
When the male is in pursuit of the female, the slightest scent of unpleasantness may send the female running. Thus, Right Guard Clear Gel or Clear Stick. Powerful protection from odor and wetness that glides on clear. Right Guard. Anything less would be uncivilized.
The U.S. on top of Brazil, 38-33. They trailed by 5 earlier on, which has been their biggest deficit. We are in round 2, and the U.S. needs to get at least to the finals of this tournament to get the 2 remaining slots open for the 2000 Summer Games in Sydney next year. Coming up on the AT&T Halftime Report, Craig Sager will update you on the Cuban defectors, and you will hear from star Cuban player Lazaro Burrell. All coming up tonight on the AT&T Halftime Report with Craig Sager. Smith, Gugliotta. Here's Duncan with the ball. Double team. Stripped away and off Duncan off the U.S.
That was a pretty double team because it came from the opposite side of the lane on the baseline, figuring that Duncan would spin that way.
Filio. He played in the '98 Goodwill games last year at Madison Square Garden about this time of the summer. Over Gugliotta, shedding the defense of Hardaway, and Googs is there with the rebound. Hardaway. Kidd cleans it up. Into Duncan. Joe Swell back in. Great pass inside to Hardaway. Tapped in by Gugliotta.
All of the teams are out muscled. And any time that a Garnett or a Duncan gets the ball in the post and makes a move, they're all double teaming. But they're losing the cutters. And when the USA makes that cut down the lane, if they send a man to him, then the offside man, like Gugliotta was, has free going if the shot is missed.
Tom hits it. Biggest lead so far for the U.S. as you take a look at Tim Duncan. 41-33 with the U.S. on top. Sato picked up by Smith. Knocked away by Gugliotta. Can't finish at the other end.
Well, see, that was an NBA foul.
Yeah.
That was a, I'm going for the shot clock. Bam. Now, the reason why the people are, they're cheering a little bit here is because, just keep an eye on this now, the player does go for the block. Look at this. See, he goes for the block, but he catches Gugliotta in the head. Now, the reason for that is that in the game versus Canada on Friday, Gugliotta went in for a shot block and split open the center from Canada, and he picked up 6 stitches. And we almost had a brawl here between the U.S. and Canada, because if you remember, back in the exhibition game in Orlando just a week ago, Tim Duncan was injured on 2 almost consecutive plays by the mugging of the Canadian guy down inside. So we really had a little bit of a hard feeling here going.
Fonseca is in. Wearing number 5. He's played in the last couple of World Championship teams for Brazil. So he's got some Olympic type experience. Here's Faria. Into Gugliotta. Knocked away by Kidd. Retrieved by Hardaway. Hardaway finds Kidd. A wide open 3. Launching with the miss. Joe Swell vacuums it in. Knocked away. Conrado the other way. Kidd right there. Knocked away and out of bounds and off Brazil. And Brazil will take a timeout.
This is the first team that's attacked the United States in the backcourt. Anytime that the USA gets a rebound or a block or a steal, they immediately re-steal the ball or deflect the ball before the USA gets to half court.
Good observation.
Be a minute. Coors Light.
Coming up.
Allow me to say a few words in this beer's memory. He was so young, so full of carbonation. Little bubbles. Everyone loves this frost-brewed Coors Light. So let us send him off in a way that is dignified, respectable, and 100% recyclable.
Maybe I could console his family.
Coors Light.
When the male is in pursuit of the female, the slightest scent of unpleasantness may send the female running. Thus, I recommend Right Guard Clear Gel or Clear Stick. Powerful protection from ferocious odor and wetness that glides on clear with no flaky white stuff.
How far's the female?
A good 70 yards, mate.
I've made longer passes than that before. Right Guard, Clear Gel, and Clear Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Welcome back to the Olympic qualifying tournament of the Americas. TNT's second round coverage will continue this Thursday. Hubie and I will be here at 8 o'clock Eastern time on TNT. Semifinal coverage with Mike Breen and Doug Collins of NBC Saturday 2 p.m. Eastern time. And then Hubie and I will be back for the championship game Sunday 8 o'clock Eastern time, July 25th, right here on TNT.
If the USA closes out this tournament 10-0, they will have played 10 games in 12 days.
It's a lot.
Yes, it is.
Kidd to Gugliotta, handcuffed inside and fouled by Brazil.
That's why the coaching staff must rest key guys in certain ball games. That's why we brought up the issue at the top on the stand-up. Jason Kidd is playing the most minutes, 26, and remember, it's a 40-minute game. The next closest player is at 23. Larry has done a terrific job rotating the 9 NBA guys and then filling in with Brand and Serbiak, because we know that Hamilton has been injured with that bad ankle 2 days before the opening game.
There's Brandon Hamilton. Gugliotta now with 6 points, 5 rebounds in 5 minutes. He'll launch from outside here. The rebound by Duncan. Joe Swell was there shoving, and a foul is called on Duncan.
Yeah, they caught Duncan over the back. To bring out the Gugliotta issue, Kevin, you know, we say that he's averaging only 3 points a game, but he was only playing 11 minutes. And during that period of time, only 3 shot attempts. And you really feel sorry for him. And talking to him before the game, he showed me, he says, Hubie, look at my eyes. I can at least see now. There's no swelling in there.
I know it.
And he said, I really feel this is the best that I have felt since the injury.
And no one was probably more excited to be on this team than Tom Gugliotta.
That's right. He's really a fine young man.
Played for the late Jim Valvano at North Carolina State. Kidd to Smith.
Plenty of time.
Wheeling inside, rocked. Ball knocked away. Hardaway gets it. Shot clock at 8. Gugliotta. There was no change of possession. Hardaway. Smith open, wanted the ball, got it, fires. Rebounded by Duncan, muscling inside for 2. 46-34, the U.S. 14 points and 7 rebounds for Tim Duncan. He got the wake-up call early in this game.
Yeah, well, you know, in this tournament, he's just been going about his business. He's not calling for the ball. They have not overdone posting him up.
Joe Swell with another soft touch and a hook.
My guy Joe Swell might be going for 20 now. He says, hey, forget 10, Hubie. I'm going for 20 on Tim Duncan, and I'll be talking about it the rest of my life.
He's got 15. Gugliotta aiming from outside. Joe Swell is there. He looks tired. Fonseca the other way. And the drive down the baseline by Masato gets his miss. They reset.
Another way looking at this, these guys are so young, they have no idea who they're playing against. So it's like a game down the park. You're getting a run. You don't know anyone. All right, there are no programs. You just play, and that's what they're doing.
Uruguayan team was taking pictures during the game with the U.S. They were in such awe. 2 seconds to play in the half. Missed 3, picked up by Kidd. Buzzer sounds. We are at the half in a somewhat surprising game against Brazil. The Cuban defection by 4 of their players is at the top of the headlines for the AT&T halftime with Craig Sager coming up.
NBA Inside Stuff magazine on newsstands now.
Nick Stiles made a name for himself when he put Earl Blake behind bars.
He wants revenge because I sent him to prison. Whole future, it's all in my hands. He's trying to make me look crazy. You killed my life. I'm gonna make him pay for this.
Never underestimate a man driven by vengeance.
You know what you did? You really ticked him off.
See Denzel Washington and John Lithgow in a movie that gives new meaning to the word payback.
Now we're even. We're not even close.
Ricochet, Friday at 8 on TNT.
Did you see your neighbor's new Pontiac? Chances are it came from Delahanty Pontiac in Flushing. We've made it easier to get a new Pontiac with our summer-long super sale.
Lower prices, better selection. Life is more exciting in Montana for only $269 a month.
Sunfire hot set of wheels with money left to burn for just $129 a month.
It's the super summer sale.
Just keeps on going
at Delahanty Pontiac in Flushing.
It's the best time ever for a great deal. Go Delahanty now.
How's it going, Mike? Man, are you okay? Sweet catch at the game today. I still can't believe you held on. Just make sure you take care of that elbow. Yours truly, Damien Easley.
Hey, honey, Be there July 25th. First 10,000 fans 14 and under get an equipment bag. Compliments of Fox Sports Net Detroit and Dodge.
The AT&T Halftime Report is brought to you by AT&T. It's all within your reach.
It's halftime in San Juan, Puerto Rico, the United States leading Brazil by 10. Tim Duncan, 14 points and 7 rebounds. Welcome to AT&T Halftime Report. Hello again, I'm Craig Sager. The past 72 hours have been an emotional nightmare for Roberto Pereira, president of the Cuban Basketball Federation. 4 players, including his son, have defected to the United States. Roberto has remained in San Juan, fulfilling his role as president and also a tournament official. As a Federation president, what is your response to the latest defection?
Como presidente de la federación, ¿cuál es tu respuesta a lo que sucedió con los atletas que se quedaron?
Bueno, yo pienso que es repudiable el hecho que han realizado estos 4 atletas.
What these 4 athletes have done.
Han aprovechado un escenario de competencia.
They have taken the advantage that they're in this type of
abandonando
championship.
Al equipo,
they abandoned their team.
De juego, defraudando a la afición de Puerto Rico.
And they were took advantage of the situation in Puerto Rico and decided to leave.
Y no representando al país, que es el objetivo con el cual ellos vinieron
and they did not represent their country, which was their main objective here, to represent their country.
One of the players was your son. Yesterday, you said he was a traitor. We met up with him this afternoon. Here is his response.
Uno de los jugadores.
Sí, mi papá tiene razón en lo que está diciendo.
My father is right on what he is saying. For every citizen that belongs to the revolution, what I and the rest of the athletes did is a treason to our country, to our revolution, and to the conditions that have been given to us in order to play sports. But that is seen as a treason now. I think that with time, it will stop being a treason, and it will become a decision that a human being took that has to be respected like any other decision that other people have taken.
As president of the Federation, you must return to Cuba on Monday. As a father, will you talk to your son before you leave?
Como presidente de la Federación, ya nos diste tu opinión. Ahora, como padre, ¿tú hablarías con tu hijo antes de regresar a Cuba?
Bueno, es mi hijo.
He's my son.
Yo lo quiero mucho.
And I love him a lot.
Como quiero a mis otros 2 hijos.
Like I love my other 2 sons.
Yo pienso que aunque él plantea que fue su decisión,
although he says that it was his own decision,
es una decisión incorrecta.
It was an incorrect decision.
Por lo que yo planteé anteriormente.
Because of what I've said before.
Yo pensé que,
I thought that
que podía hablar con él
I could have spoken to him
y corregirle el error que ha
and would
cometido.
have advised him concerning the mistake that he made.
Después de escuchar
But after hearing
lo que era planteado
what he has said
al respecto,
in relation
yo
to
pienso que va a ser
the situation,
difícil
I think it would be very
que él
difficult
pueda entender mi posición.
for him to understand my
Él
position.
sabe como yo pienso.
He knows how I feel.
Él sabe que el deporte cubano,
He knows that the Cuban
los
sports,
triunfos que se ha obtenido en el deporte
the
cubano,
different triumphs that it has had,
es producto del
it is the
esfuerzo
product
y la
of
dedicación
the efforts and the dedication
que ha hecho la revolución,
that the Cuban Revolution has done.
que los ha formado a todos,
It has formed
tanto
them
como estudiantes
as students
y como atletas.
and as athletes.
Y yo pienso que no
So I
nos
think
merecemos
that
esta decepción y
it
esta
is
traición
not,
que nos han hecho.
it is unspeakable in the sense that they could have done something like this.
Thank you very much for being with us. Of the 4 players who defected, probably the best is Lazaro Barrel. He was averaging 21 points and 10 rebounds during this tournament. All 4 will probably play professionally. However, Barrel may be the only one who is capable of playing in the NBA.
Bueno, ahora primero quiero arreglar.
First, I would like to work on my papers, on my documentation here in Puerto Rico. And as I have said previously to other journalists, the dream of every basketball player is to play with the best. And the best is the NBA. And I hope I will be given the chance to play.
As Cuba's best basketball player, Barrel lived more comfortably than others. However, his monthly salary was just 148 pesos, an equivalent of $7 US per month. All 5 tomorrow will formally seek political asylum with the U.S. Immigration and Naturalization Service, a process that could take up to 6 months.
That meeting is going to start whether I get rid of this headache or not. So I took something stronger, something faster. I took Advil liquid gels. They're stronger and faster on tough pain than extra strength Tylenol. It makes sense that they are. Liquid gels are the only pain reliever with liquid inside. Nobody else has that. Nobody. So when you want something that's faster on tough headaches than Tylenol, take Advil liquid gels. Pain relief that's stronger and faster.
A new force to be reckoned with. Motor Trend. Reliability, it's guaranteed. Edmunds.com. God's own warranty plan. Confident, secure handling. The ride is also excellent. A solid piece of machine. Fresh and
The Hyundai Sonata. It seems wherever it goes. Praise from the automotive press is never far behind.
Driver, April 99.
The Sonata from Hyundai. Backed by America's best warranty.
Here's my idea. Make my boys the Best Buy boys because they've grown up on Best Buy. When he wakes up, it's, do I get computer time? It's amazing what they're learning. They're glued to the computer. They love to watch themselves on TV. They just are fascinated by anything that has a button on it or a dial. Technology is really a part of our daily lives.
Bringing technology home, one family at a time. Best Buy.
Now that's a great idea.
Here's a few suggestions for NBA.com. This one's from Mitch.
I want real-time stats of every game and a post-game recap.
This is good. Sam Mitchell says,
I want raw data parsed out to Java-enabled browsers.
Antoine wants online cats.
No, I want online chats.
Typo.
But Penny, NBA.com has all that.
Oh, yeah? Does it have the recipe for my mom's meatloaf?
NBA.com. Live stats, video highlights, player chats, and meatloaf.
Welcome back to the AT&T Halftime Report. 3 games already completed today. Venezuela keeps its medal hopes alive, nipping Uruguay in overtime. Canada's only loss was to the United States. For the Dominican, Felipe Lopez, 19 points in a losing cause. And in the biggest upset so far in the tournament, Argentina stunning Puerto Rico and its home crowd by 5. The standings as we continue the second round. The U.S. a notch or 2 above the rest. The semifinals will be Saturday with number 1 against number 4 and number 2 against number 3. Those who make the finals will qualify for the Olympics. And here at halftime, Tim Duncan leading the way with 14 points and 7 rebounds. The U.S. on top by 10.
Brakes? Get the best in the business to install them. And a lifetime guarantee honored at every Midas nationwide. Go safely. Go Midas.
We asked some of the hottest detectives on the street to switch antiperspirant. Degree Ultra Dry.
Body heat activated.
When your body heat rises, Degree's powerful Ultra Dry form releases extra protection.
When the pressure is on, the heat is on.
Degree kicks butt. Degree Ultra Dry.
They're the kind of folks who take pride in taking care of their car, who would rather take the time and save the money by doing the job themselves. In other words, they're the kind of people who turn to AutoZone every week. And while they come to us for the quality parts, for the everyday low price, sometimes they come just for the advice. And that's okay, because at AutoZone, giving people what they need is what we're all about.
They've won more games in the 90s than any other team.
These guys want to win, and it shows on the field.
Their string of 7 consecutive division titles is the best in Major League history.
Well, we expect them to win.
But still, that's not enough.
We've all never lost sight of our goal. Everyone is motivated to win another championship. You can see that winning attitude is here. Every year is a mission.
That mission is to get to the World Series and win it.
The 1999 Atlanta Braves, all season on the Superstation.
Our coverage of the Tournament of the Americas will continue Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on TNT. The U.S. against the tournament host, Puerto Rico. The U.S. leading Brazil at halftime tonight, 46-36. Kevin Harlan and Hubie Brown will be back with first half highlights.
The AT&T Halftime Report was brought to you by AT&T. It's all within your reach.
To be the best takes strength, speed, endurance. Now the best way to cure athlete's foot has it all. New Lamisil AT. Strength. Full prescription strength to stop the itching and burning. Speed. These take 4 weeks of treatment to kill the fungus. Only Lamisil AT cures athlete's foot with just 1 week's use. Endurance. A study showed most users were still athlete's foot free 3 whole months later. Get it all in new Lamisil AT. The best way to cure athlete's foot.
When the male is in pursuit of the female, the slightest scent of unpleasantness may send the female running. Thus, I recommend Right Guard Clear Gel or Clear Stick. Powerful protection from ferocious odor and wetness that glides on clear with no flaky white stuff.
How far is the female?
A good 70 yards, mate. I've made longer passes than that before. Right Guard Clear Gel and Clear Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
You see your neighbor's new Pontiac? Chances are it came from Delahanty Pontiac in Flushing. We've made it easier to get a new Pontiac with our summer-long super sale.
Lower prices, better selection.
Firebird, the muscle car lives, and it costs less at Delahanty.
Bonneville, luxury with attitude from $259 a month.
It's the super summer sale.
It's the sale that just keeps on going.
At Delahanty Pontiac in Flushing.
It's the best time ever for a great deal. Go Delahanty now.
Some people travel the world seeking out a quiet place, a refuge from life's everyday pressures. But now a sanctuary is as close as your bedroom door when you let Bedroom Expressions create your own special quiet place. At Bedroom Expressions, choose from over 50 styles of beautiful bedrooms, from classic to contemporary, all at rather relaxing prices. Bedroom Expressions, created expressly for you in the Furniture Row Shopping Center, Linden and Lennon.
Old San Juan on a Tuesday night here in Puerto Rico, the Olympic qualifying tournament of the Americans. And the U.S. on top by 10, 46-36. We're at the Roberto Clemente Coliseum with Hubie Brown, Kevin Harlan. We usually see in this U.S. team up by 20, 25 points at the half.
At least that, and then also in a track meet. They are not playing with a great deal of confidence, and also they're a half a step slow. But give Brazil a lot of credit. They have come out here tonight. They're playing 10 guys, and they're making their shots, playing with a lot of confidence.
We talked about Tim Duncan, how he is really battling Joe Swell.
Well, right there, you're going to see Duncan in 2 of his 14 points. But at the other end of the floor, Joe Swell is lighting him up. He has 15 at halftime and 4 rebounds. Duncan, 14 points, 9 rebounds. They cannot handle him anytime he catches something. What? Was that George Mikan with that hook or what? Who was that man?
Let's check in with Craig Sager.
Well, like Hubie Brown, Larry Brown credited Brazil with a great first half. He said the big men were excellent. He told Garnett and Duncan to keep them off the board, beat them down the court, and let's run. He also said, we're in foul trouble. I said, but these guys only have 2. He said, remember, you only get 5.
Yeah, that's right. By the way, Craig, a great report on that Cuban defection story. You've been following that sleeplessly for the last couple days. An outstanding, outstanding job as Brazil begins things with Fonseca, the veteran in the backcourt, working on Kidd, who's out there with Duncan, Payton, Allen Houston, and Kevin Garnett. Shot clock at 4, and a great 3 put in by Kefka.
The USA just had terrific energy on that entire defensive set. Allen Houston never thought that Klafke was going to release that 3.
But he did, and he hit. Here comes Houston across the lane, floating inside. Rebound by Joe Swell. He's got 5. And at the other end, Fonseca in the corner for Klafka, and picked up by Kevin Garnett. Kidd with Joe Swell there. Almost picked off. Here comes Garnett inside. He misses the shot. Joe Swell again vacuums it up. Intercepted by Kidd. 3 on 3. The no look to Houston.
It's nice to see the USA come out of that with a plus. Mainly because we try to bring out the point. Brazil has been able to hang around because defensively, in transition, they've been able to deflect the basketball away from the USA and kind of like somewhat hold them on fast break points. Halftime, USA 13, Brazil 2 in the open floor.
Joe Swell outside the 3 by Fonseca. Garnett is right there. Outlet caught by Kidd. Here comes Gary Payton drawing 2 Brazilian defenders.
Well, there's an example of the deflection.
Right.
Gary Payton never thinking that the guy was going to run him down. And you've got to give Brazil credit. This is the first time we've seen this in this tournament where guys did not give up on the break. Usually we see the USA just completing the play. Here, they've got to get through a little bit of the defensive effort.
Play by Klafka.
Yeah, I'm happy for him because he's a fine young man. He's really, ever since he's been on the national team at 18 years of age, he's been able to produce points, but he has been hampered with a severe knee injury.
Kidd was tossing it up for Duncan, and the ball was knocked away beautifully inside.
Now keep an eye on Klafka. He just hit the 3 previous to this. Now he's taking the ball strong to the basket.
Look at that.
Yeah, he's 6'6". He's got a lot of talent, Kevin. He can put the ball on the floor, and you like his enthusiasm.
$17:40 to play in this second half. Second round for the U.S. Garnett doubles, swivels inside, can't hit it. Rebound by Fonseca. And a foul called on Garnett.
As you look at Brazil, you examine their defense. This is the first team that's gone right at the USA guys. When you're dribbling the basketball, you better be ready for a double team. If you're going to try to take a guy off of a dribble, you better not give him a lackadaisical move because they're right up in your face.
Ciolato misses the shot. Rebound inside by Ferrari.
Well, he came in the game in probably the last 8 minutes of that first half and really played with a ton of spirit. And you can see he's a young guy, and just watch him down inside here with Garnett. He's not allowing Garnett to dominate. And then keep an eye on this. I see he's got some hop. He's got some hop to his game.
Duncan picks up his 3rd foul. Ferreira at the free throw line, the rookie on this team, 1 of 2. Hits it again. And it is a 5-point game with the U.S. on top.
Well, this is the first time at this juncture, 17 minutes ago, that they have not been up by over 30.
Pass to Kidd goes astray, picked up by Fonseca. And there's a foul called inside as Klafke was inside working after the feed.
Now, when you get a team that's fast break conscious and also fast break conscious after you score. See, the fans are enjoying it, not just because they want to see the USA lose, but also in appreciation of the type of basketball that they're seeing by Brazil, because they've seen 5 teams fold at this time in the game.
Puerto Rico losing early tonight against Argentina will play the U.S. on Thursday here on TNT as Gary Payton is hit with the foul and a technical.
Yeah, well, you see, the USA has been gotten away with all kinds of bumping and grinding and grabbing in the trapping. Now, you can see Gary Payton is in complete shock right now. He has 3 steals a game. Jason Kidd has 3 steals a game. But these 2 referees are calling this game very, very tight. Now, keep an eye right at the top. Now, you're going to see the down screen. And then as you come off, there is your steal here. But they catch Gary Payton with a bump once the man made the pass.
We have a Lithuanian and a Dominican Republic referee tandem tonight. And an official at the scores table came by at halftime and said that Duncan was complaining about some hooking going on. And these FIBA referees responded, "This is not the NBA. We don't call it that way."
Well, he's exactly right. I mean, hello. You're not at home now.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a big road game.
And these are the things that Brown wanted to get his team accustomed to for next year in the Olympics in Sydney. There's a hostile environment. These are things that they're all going to go through next year.
Well, I'm happy because we're seeing good basketball. It's very entertaining, and it's good also that the USA does play a close game. And let's see what happens. Let's see how they handle the pressure.
Duncan was maneuvering inside. Joswell knocked it away. And one final note on Gary Payton. That was his 4th foul, but the technical foul was his 5th, and so he's now gone.
And that happened in a hurry.
Very quick.
Now, we're talking about the guy who is leading this team in scoring with 17 a game. He's also been outstanding in 3-point shooting at 54%. He's averaging 3 steals a game, and he's had 5 assists a game. So he is going to be missed, because we're going to miss him at the defensive end. He has been outstanding. Now, tonight we have not seen it in this game.
Nor the intensity from the team.
Correct.
Tim Duncan gives the U.S. a lead of 50-45. More than 3 minutes gone. Garnett the steal. Houston climbs in with the tomahawk stuff.
We have seen very few plays like that.
The kid knocks it away, almost forcing another Brazilian turnover.
Well, the kid gets away with, they get away with a foul. Come on, I mean, the guy was sandwiched and mugged, semi-mugged in the backcourt.
Fonseca. Houston reels it in. Here comes Kid Garnett with the trail and the pass. Duncan is inside, congested lane in the foul.
Well, now it's like an NBA game, because every time the U.S. goes to the basket now, they are trying to block the shot, and if they don't block the shot, they're fouling you, and they're saying, let's see you make your foul shots, because in this tournament, you're only shooting 66%.
Allow us to present America's best warranty. One with 10 years, 100,000 miles powertrain coverage, 5 years, 60,000 miles bumper-to-bumper protection, and 5 years unlimited mileage roadside assistance. Who makes such solid cars that they can offer a warranty this strong? Presenting the Hyundai Advantage. It's yours on every 1999 Hyundai.
I'm serving a party of 20 at 7 o'clock, whether this pain goes away or not. So I took something stronger, something faster. I took Advil liquid gels. See, they're stronger and faster on tough pain than extra-strength Tylenol, and, well, it just makes sense that they are. Liquid gels are the only pain reliever with liquid inside. Nobody else has that. Nobody. So when you want something that's faster on tough pain than Tylenol, take Advil liquid gels. Pain relief that's stronger and faster.
They say fruit is good for your body.
Everybody loves fruit.
Natural fruit, wild fruit, appealing fruit. Warm bodies, cool bodies.
Everybody loves fruit.
Everybody. Fruit of the Loom. You wear it. Get it? The new t-shirt collection from Fruit. Every style, every color, even the classic white.
Everybody loves fruit.
Everybody loves fruit tees. It's not just underwear. Go out and grab a bunch.
U.S. surprisingly not leading by more than 7 right here, 52-45. And Hubie, when you think of the Brazilian team, you go back a couple years to Oscar Schmidt, one of the great international players of all time.
Well, how about the fact that he played in 5 Olympics? He's the all-time leading scorer in the history, over 1,000 points.
Wow.
27 points a game. Now, you just never see those kind of numbers. And then naturally, in the big one against Spain, he hit for 55. Now, Oscar had his chances to play in the United States. But for whatever reasons, he came over. He gave it a little bit of a try. He could never make the same amount of monies that he was making playing throughout FIBA basketball. He would leave Brazil and play in all these other countries because everyone wanted the big-time scoring. So they paid not only his money, but the taxes, and also you get the free apartment, the car, the food, etc. So, you know, they just made it worth his while to stay in FIBA basketball.
Plus, he had great charisma, didn't he?
Oh, he sure did. He was a terrific player.
Fun to watch. Joe Swell, who played with Schmidt. Outside it goes for Fonseca. A two-man game with Joe Swell over Duncan, who got a hand on it. Steve Smith of the Atlanta Hawks cleans it up, and here comes the U.S. up 54-45. Duncan, Smith, Kidd, Houston, and Vin Baker in. Kidd had it rejected, and Smith hooks it home.
Now there was the first, where the USA had an uncontested layup, and all of a sudden, out of the dark comes the shot block. Fortunately, Smith comes up with the loose ball.
And Brazil has been out-rebounded and out-shot blocked consistently throughout this tournament. They come up with some interesting plays right there. Offensive foul on Brazil.
Now, Brazil has lost to Canada by 20. They lost to Venezuela by 23, and to Puerto Rico by 8. So what you are seeing here right now is a stunner for the paying fan who has been here every single day.
4 fouls on Ferreira. In the game comes Timmy Hardaway, joining Duncan, Smith, Baker, and Houston. And Duncan doubled and hooks it with a nice spin move on the block.
Well, Duncan said the first half was a stalemate. 15 for you, 14 for me. Now I'm going to open up with some cannon moves. No more water pistol. I'm going to give you the jump hook.
Load them. Fill the barrels. Since Gary Payton is gone, the U.S. on a 10-0 run right now. Payton picked up his 4th foul, complained about it, got the tee. That was his 5th, and Rogério Klafaki with another great outside shot.
Well, you can see that he has a game. This young guy can put up numbers in a hurry. See, this is what I like. See, they're double teaming the post real hard, and then they are rotating and cutting off the pass out to the top.
Klafaki with a quick move by Houston on the crossover, and inside he wiggles on Baker, and a foul called on Baker of the U.S. That was a terrific move. Baker's got 3.
Anytime that we have the second unit guys out on the floor, meaning the USA, anytime you have that, you can just take guys off there. Now watch as this pass goes in. You see how they double team down inside, and they're cutting off the outlet to the top of the circle. And that's where you've got to give them a lot of credit. They've been outstanding doing that.
Klafaki with 13 points, 5 of 6 from the floor. U.S. 58-49. Hardaway sets up Duncan. Rebounded by Joe Swell.
Well, Brazil doing a nice job holding the USA to 1 shot.
Rado found an open lane. And a whistle, another offensive foul.
Well, I think that the rest of the Brazilian players were shocked that he took that shot, because usually he's a very conservative guy and he doesn't force things. He gets down inside there, and you know he's 6'5". Now, he doesn't look that big, but he is, and he's left-handed. He has a nice game about himself.
Duncan for three. Or rather, a Hardaway for three. Duncan cleans it up and puts it on in.
Well, you were hoping that Duncan got to see if he got fouled.
I was thinking
we had a chance.
It would be a three-point play. Eyes are on Duncan downstairs. He is picking up a lot of attention on the block and underneath the basket. 22 for Tim Duncan. Barahio played at the Mountaineer program for West Virginia University. And there he is, the former Mountaineer, with the ball, working on Baker. Nice hook shot inside, launched it but missed it, and the pass broken up by Conrado. And he's open for a two, and that is a straight.
See, they do not allow the U.S. to get the ball a half court. What they do is they put up their first line of defense in the back court and make something happen.
12.5 to play in this second half. U.S. on top, one time trailing by 5. A surprising game so far. Houston for the triple, and down it goes.
Coming into tonight's game, Houston has shot 59%. He's only getting 8 shots a game, averaging 3 threes.
Missed 3 right there by Chinini. Hardaway to Smith, and a sweet stroke there. Another 3. And the U.S. with their biggest lead and beginning to pull away from Brazil.
Well, the USA has been attempting 16 threes a game, making 7. And if you go back to the Olympic team in '96, the Olympic team in '92, Dream Team 1 and 2, they also averaged right about 16 threes in the national play.
Joe Swell with another nice play inside a congested area.
Oh, he looks terrific.
He does.
He really does. Now, you and I had him in the Goodwill games last summer. He didn't play this time.
He seems rejuvenated. He's been on this Brazilian team many, many years. A missed fan right there by Hardaway. Here comes Conrado at the other end for Brazil, down by 15 points. Joe Swell, doubled that time by both Houston and Duncan.
Oh, pretty.
And left wide open is Barahio.
What I like also about them is they make the extra pass. See, they move the ball. Once a player gets double teamed, they make the first pass, and then they make the second pass.
How do you like the spacing?
Oh, the spacing is outstanding, and that's what always contributes to the second pass. You'll always get a high percentage shot.
Baker doubled, but that was a nice spin move as he tools Barahio. This game has been fun to watch. I mean, the score right now is a little wide, but it's been a fun game to watch.
You know, it's like that's, you know, is the time, you know, we should knock a little dust off of our shoes and get it going here, okay? and we're starting to see them pick it up a little bit. And also, I think that Gary Payton getting his 4th, the technical 5 getting put out of the game kind of has ignited this ball club.
Step up. Learn to see farther. Learn there are teachers who won't allow you to fail. Learn to dance, to draw. Learn that the real challenge doesn't come from the outside, but from within. And that there's more to you than you ever knew. Be all you can be.
When the male is in pursuit of the female, the slightest scent of unpleasantness may send the female running. Thus, Right Guard Clear Gel or Clear Stick. Powerful protection from odor and wetness. That glides on clear. Right Guard. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Need brakes? Get the best in the business to install them. And a lifetime guarantee honored at every Midas nationwide. Go safely. Go Midas.
We'd like to show you the USA double team in the post. See, here's the first time that they've done it. Now keep an eye as Hardaway rotates out here. Now the ball will come to this side of the floor, and they will have a 2-on-1. Now just watch this beautiful ball movement. As the ball comes out, now they've got to make the commitment. There's your nice fast, the unselfish play. Beautiful. See, that's good, sound, quality basketball. That's why we brought up to you They did win the South American Championship by beating Argentina in Argentina, because you can see they're very, very sound in how they want to play.
You saw Hileo Garcia, their coach. He's been there for a while. Outside, Klafecki with the miss. Baker is in. Garnett is off the bench now. Here comes Hardaway leading the charge. Allen Houston is also out there with Steve Smith. Peyton fouled out. You can see the run by the U.S. and some nice aggressive defense by Souza, the rookie. Garnett, shot clock at 13, so plenty of time. Into Garnett.
Oh, pretty fast.
And Baker, the recipient. 3-second violation inside.
Well, you know, you can argue that and say, hey, listen, you can't call 3 seconds when no one has possession of the ball, because he dropped the ball. But that was a good play and a beautiful pass by Garnett.
You know what I mean? Saucini with the ball for Brazil. Under 10 to play in the second round game for the U.S. Driving through traffic is Conrado. And a shove inside. And a Brazilian foul called on Conrado. Used that leverage to get free inside.
Right now, if I'm Larry Brown, I'd like to see a little bit more movement now. Let's see some movement in our half-court sets that we have practiced and that we've really run extremely well in the 5 previous games.
Brazilian foul. U.S. came into tonight with an overall record of 5-0, but Hubie, when you take a look at how they've structured this tournament, the record is actually 4-0 because you don't count wins against teams you beat in the first round.
That were eliminated at the end of the first round. And Cuba was eliminated, so the U.S. win over that team is canceled. And Puerto Rico's win over Panama was dropped because they also were excluded in the tournament. I know it's kind of weird that you would do that, because, you know, you say, hey, wait a second, the U.S. has played their 6th game. What do you mean they're only 4-0?
Right. Houston again. A lot of people are just under the assumption that if you've got a national basketball team, you're going to get in as they try to lead Klafecki at the other end. And Smith would not be fooled. He was right with him stride for stride. Souza. Shot clock approaching 10.
Now, if you're just watching this game and you can see the defense for the USA is there, the intensity, they're up in right on top of people.
Stifling.
Yeah, and that's the first 24-second clock. I mean, 24, the first 30.
I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant.
30-second clock violation.
Get to the top, Allen. Roll.
This is the second such qualifying tournament. There are a couple others in the Pacific Rim. There was one in Europe, and those teams have already qualified. And this is the Americans, the Olympic qualifying tournament of the Americans. One in the Oceanic and one in the Pacific Rim. And Smith for 3, right between the eyes.
Now, that was difficult to do. Smitty was going to his left. He had to make that catch. The ball was low, and then he just came straight up and knocked in a 3.
His 3rd tonight. Biggest lead, 73-53 for the U.S. now at 20 points. The Peyton thing kind of woke him up a little bit. Joe Swell.
Yeah, he's showing strength here.
Using the nice itty-bitty steps to whittle in on Garnett. Souza has it. Fresh 30-second shot clock. 8:15 to play in this second half. Conrado, the leading assist man, with the dribbling violation.
See, I would argue that also. But, you know, all that is a fumble ball. Right. You are allowed to pick up the fumble ball. And he was right. And he just went after the referee again.
2 referees for FIBA, 3 for college and pro basketball in the States. One of a couple different changes with the rules here. The trapezoidal lane, the 30-second shot clock, and Steve Smith has caught fire. He's got 15.
Well, you know, he's one of the best that we have in the NBA when he is on a run. He's pretty to watch.
To Joe Swell, drawing the double, kicks it outside. Klafecki catches. Pretty play by Joe Swell. A 3 by Klafecki.
Now, he is the prime-time shooter for this ball club. And with a healthy knee, this young guy can put up numbers in a hurry.
Joe Swell and this Brazilian team will be very good in the Olympics a year from now, and they got even more experience. Nice 3 put up and hit by Steve Smith. Every chamber is filled for Smith. A U.S. steal right here. And here comes Hardaway. Smith again. Off the rim. Tap-in try by Baker. And a foul called on the rookie Souza.
Nice move by Vinny Baker. Right up there with that tap. Keeping that ball alive. Was fouled from the rear. Right over the top.
Timeout taken. The second round from San Juan. U.S. in control.
Watch Due South at 6 and ER at 7. Weeknights on TNT.
Yeah, folks, there's some turbulence reported ahead. We're going to climb to 30,000 feet.
With a great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down.
Uh-oh.
Make it a Bud Light.
Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to return to your seat.
Boy, you're sweating like crazy. You got TV cameras all over you.
We asked the hottest pros under the sun to switch antiperspirant.
Invisible solid? What's that?
Degree Invisible Solid is body heat activated with a clear difference.
Right there. See, there's no white stuff.
Degree works hard but never shows.
You gotta be cool.
Nothing tops ice cream better than Hershey's chocolate syrup. So feel free to pour it on. But do watch out for those cherries.
A cheeseburger sounds good, huh?
Dad, with your heartburn?
No problem. They have Tums.
Tums? With that new prescription you're taking? Did you talk to your doctor?
What?
Look, read the warning.
You're kidding with Tums?
Yeah, it says if you're taking a prescription, don't take Tums without checking with your doctor.
Really?
Here, Dad, try my Pepsid AC. There's no prescription warning. One Pepsid AC now, we won't even get heartburn.
Are you going to buy those, hon?
But I will have a cheeseburger.
Same here.
Start living heartburn-free with Pepsid AC.
There's some tight moments early on, but the U.S. pulling away. An excellent report earlier at our halftime by Craig Sager, who talked about the 4 Cuban defectors, including what may be their best player, Burrell.
You can see, now he's been on that national team 11 years, and the amount of points that he scored this year in the Argentina Pro League. Now, he is a 6'8" small forward with big hands. When we first saw him in the Pan American Games at 18 years of age, he just blew my mind. He and Guibert, who played for Minnesota, and you know, he was 19 at that time. Both guys could have gone to the United States if they were allowed out of that country and honestly been all-American basketball players at the college level. Guibert later defects in '92. Works his way to the NBA and is now also playing in FIBA basketball professionally. But this young man is blessed with great talent. The question is, did he wait too long? Now, he's only 26. Now, he can score those kind of points in Argentina, but can he come to the NBA and go back to playing the small forward position where here he plays power forward and just overwhelms guys? But in the United States, the 3 position would be there, but he does have talent.
Filio to Joe Swell. Feed it inside by Cardoso. And a foul on the U.S. and Kevin Garnett-Gilliam. Let me take that a step further, Hubie, because it seems like often you will talk about players, international players, FIBA players, that were right at the brink, 18, 19 years of age, but then it seems like their progress stopped. Is it coaching? Is it lack of physical? What happens to them at that age when they hold so much promise?
Well, they still dominate within the FIBA world of basketball. They dominate on their own professional team, Division I in their country. They also are on their national teams. Now, to a lot of these players, that's as far as they want to go. They do not want to go to the United States to play in the NBA because, A, they might not have they might not be able to speak English, and they do not want to learn English. So not every guy wants to come and play in the NBA. So many of them, and if you remember back when the Soviet Union was so great, the Soviet Union would never allow a player to leave. The Yugoslavians allowed their players to leave and try out in the NBA. And so did any of the other countries over there. But the Soviet Union, they ruled with an iron fist. Now, once the country was divided and they broke up into 13 countries, branched out, then we know that the Russian players were able to leave their country and make money for the first time playing in Greece, Spain, France, Italy, etc.
That's very interesting. And Sabonis, one of the best-known players now in the NBA from what you were talking about.
Come on, we're seeing a Sabonis with bad knees, ACL, Achilles operation on his heel. The Sabonis of the 83 to 87 was arguably one of the 3 or 4 greatest centers in all of basketball. That's how good Sabonis was as a young age.
Fascinating stuff. Hardaway with a nice pass to Kidd as the 2 guards took it down. Let's check in quickly with Craig Sager.
Well, I talked moments ago with Rod Thorne, the Senior Vice President of Basketball Operations. He confirmed what QB was talking about, that the age of 26, Lazaro Barrell would be a free agent. However, he has also been advised by the legal department of the NBA not to comment throughout this tournament about the Cuban players who have defected. However, we have learned that at least one team, and as the Portland Trailblazers, are on their way down to give him a tryout and take a look at him because the feeling is mixed about whether or not he has the talent to play in the NBA. Kevin?
Interesting. And there's Rod Thorne right there.
No one is going to question his ability. At 18 years of age, 6'8", whirlwind, long arms, gigantic hands, three-point shooter, take you off the dribble, post you up, score. He's done it in this tournament, but he's now 26. Now, does he have the competitiveness and the desire to want to excel? Because he's going to have to change his game if he does take on the NBA. And I'm thinking Portland, my God, Portland has so many guys they could have their own league, their own, Western Division for crying out loud.
Although there seems to be trade rumors with Isaiah Ryder, and I see Jimmy Jackson's name. I mean, they are so deep,
right,
and so loaded that they're still looking though to maneuver things. Bob Whitson up there, the GM of the Blazers, as the U.S. has built a 84-62 lead, overpowering Brazil here in the later stages.
Well, the defense has picked up terrifically, and everything now for the Brazilians is outside. They are getting nothing down inside in the paint.
Houston in the paint, convert. Out there for the U.S., Duncan, Gugliotta. Here you see Allen Houston with Kidd and Hardaway. And we're going to see the first rookie off the bench tonight, Elton Brand. Gugliotta wide open. Here's Elton Brand, #1 pick in the draft by the Chicago Bulls.
Now, this team came into tonight defeating all the teams in this tournament by 37 points a game. If you're wondering, well, what happened when Dream Team 1 played these same different teams? Well, they ran through it, and they beat teams by 52 points a game. Then they went into the Olympics in '92 and defeated teams by 44 points a game. Then in the '94 World Tournament in Toronto, the United States team went undefeated and defeated teams by 38 points a game. Then in the '96 Olympics, 32 points a game. So this team is doing a very, presentable job of handling this type of competition. But for them tonight, it had to be a little bit of a shock to be struggling at halftime.
Wally Serbiak and Elton Brand check in as you take a look at Kevin Garnett. And this is also kind of a passing of the torch, don't you think? No Barkley, no David Robinson. The familiar names are not here, and this truly is the future of the NBA we're seeing.
Well, it's a healthy way of looking at it, to continue to keep 3 college players to reward them, for playing in all of the international ball during their freshman, sophomore, and junior years. Then add the 9 NBA guys, but keep them all young players. Right. Now, the reason why Timmy Hardaway is on this team is because on 2 occasions he had injuries which negated him from participating.
And it's great to have him here in San Juan.
Absolutely.
Next year in Sydney. Right.
Puerto Rico, United States, Thursday night at 8 on TNT.
While we could give you a lot of reasons to buy performance friction carbon metallic disc brake pads from AutoZone, perhaps the most compelling is this. They simply stop shorter than any brand we've ever tested. Performance friction carbon metallic. Ask for them at AutoZone.
We asked some of the hottest detectives on the street to switch antiperspirant. Degree Ultra Dry.
Body heat activated.
When your body heat rises, Degree's powerful Ultra Dry form releases extra protection.
When the pressure is on, the heat is on, Degree kicks butt.
Degree Ultra Dry.
Freedom. Control. Just you and your laptop. Log on to autobytel.com for dealer cost info, reviews, and a low, no-haggle price. Autobytel.com. The road to your next car.
Friday night on TNT, they have a movie that gives new meaning to the word payback. See Denzel Washington and John Lithgow in the thriller Ricochet. Friday night at 8 o'clock, right here on TNT. And we'll be here Thursday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time as Puerto Rico takes on the U.S. Puerto Rico losing a close game in an upset earlier tonight to Argentina. Puerto Rico's got a lot of interesting characters, including Hubie, a guy you had in training camp at one time when you were coaching the league.
Well, Jerome Mincy is one of the key players on this team. He played at Alabama Birmingham, and he was the last cut of one of our ball clubs in New York City. He was terrific. He gave it his all. And then he did the right thing. He came back. He played Division I professional ball here in Puerto Rico, as well as playing in Argentina and Spain during the winter, and then being a star of the national team for years and years.
Interesting players on that team. 8 o'clock Eastern Time on Thursday. Gugliotta, Serbiak, Hardaway, Brand, and Kidd with the ball in the final 3:20 of the game. Here's Serbiak, who has been struggling, looking for Brand, knocked away. The coach's son, Filio, got it. And here comes Brazil.
It's so difficult for Brand and Serbiak to be part-time players. And by that we mean they're only getting 9 minutes a game. They get in for 4 minutes in the first half, maybe 5 minutes at the end of the game. All their lives, they've been prime-time guys. You can see the minutes, the field goal attempts, 4 and 4, and the points. Well, just think this past summer, they played over 30 minutes a game against the same competition. Both averaged 17 points a game. They were the leading rebounders, 1 and 2 in rebounding, and led the United States to a wonderful, surprising, dramatic finish and a gold medal. It was terrific.
It was wonderful.
But this is a different level of players that they have to compete with for playing time.
Kidd hits Brand, who gets a nice basket inside. 89-65 the U.S. And over Gugliotta, the shot by Barahio.
He looks so stiff, except the ball goes in the basket. He doesn't look like he's going anywhere, but he can maneuver a little bit and get the shot.
He's their leading shooter. And there's a rebound on the backside of Cardoso. And picked up on the side. I've enjoyed watching this Brazilian team. Cardoso right down the lane with the left-handed finger roll. He's got 4.
I feel the most impressive thing about them tonight is they went after the USA defensively, got in their face, and made good things happen for themselves.
And maybe tipping off future opponents in this tournament against the U.S. That is a way you can get it. Now, whether they're successful and they can continue it for 40 minutes, that's another issue.
Well, tomorrow night at 10 o'clock, they play another team somewhat like Brazil. They play Venezuela. Naturally, they'll be a heavy favorite, but Venezuela has the same type of record in the tournament that Brazil has. Then they run into Puerto Rico, and this place will be a rocking on Thursday night at 8 o'clock.
That'll be fun. So here's Tom Gugliotta. He's been in Washington, Golden State, Minnesota, Phoenix. He's bounced around, but every place he has gone, he has contributed. And I think his game has gotten better, really, as he has gone through the league.
Well, you go back when he was in Washington, he averaged 21 points a game, two years. He also, throughout his entire career, is an automatic 9-rebound-a-game guy.
Casiolato.
That young guy played well in the Goodwill games last year.
He did. You're right.
Yeah.
Kid trying to save it out of bounds with the ball as momentum carried him away. In fact, this is basically the Goodwill team that we saw last year at Madison Square Garden.
Right. Now, Casiolato, if we remember correctly, could shoot the three. But right now, it looks like Brazil has picked up a couple of other players in the backcourt at that 2 position who are a little bit more athletic.
There's Filio. He played in the Goodwill games last year. A lot of these players, too, played in the '96 Olympic Games in Atlanta for Brazil.
Nice pass.
Beautiful.
Yeah, pretty pass.
Cardoso finishes it off, but the pass came from Casiolato. He played in the Olympics in Atlanta. Timmy Hardaway. He's put up a lot of threes, and he's missed every one tonight. Filio lunges, and he can't hit the shot. Serbiak, Kid, Guglielmo at the other end. Oh, the mask came into play again, I think. Oh! That kid flew out of no place.
Yes, he did.
Very rough. Shot by Filio, out of bounds it goes. 21 seconds to
this team is going back to their hotel tonight. They're gonna have a nice meal, and they're gonna be saying, you know, if we only made a few more shots, we could have gotten it done here tonight.
But they gave the U.S. a run.
Ah, they sure did. And the people appreciate they hung in here.
Sure.
You know, hung in here watching this one, even though their hearts were broken in the preliminary game to this tonight with Argentina beating Puerto Rico by 5.
Rand gobbles up the rebound. This one goes to the U.S. 90 to 73. So the U.S. overall goes to 6-0, and the standings will reveal a 5-0 record because of the way they have formatted this.